let's do Have You Heard This Shit?
Okay, have you heard? That's right.
All right.
Have you heard this shit? Let's talk. Let's get it.
Yes. So we're gonna wrap up with it. Hit it, Zoe.
Boom, 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 boom.
Hey, wake up! Wake your punk ass up.
Who are you?
Have you heard this shit?
Okay, all right.
We never get into what he smelled.
There we go. Just didn't get there.
We never get into what he smelled. Never. Okay, so
Goddamn.
for this edition of Have You Heard This Shit, we decided to go a little retro on this one.
Yeah.
And we decided to take a look back in time to the wonderful year of 2011. You know what I'm saying? Back when, this time of year, it was sundress season. Lil Wayne was sitting on the top of the charts. Young Thug was still wearing pants. And what else? And and there was a young actor who had aspirations to be more than just an actor.
Yeah.
Enter Donald Glover.
Yes.
Right? And we'll be talking about Donald Glover, aka Childish Gambino, not to be confused with Don Ed Glover, the Arkansas politician, right?
Yeah.
Totally
different person. Totally different.
Yes. Drop one of clues grounds for Wikipedia. So anyway, we'll be talking about Donald Glover's album, aka Childish Gambino's Camp album. Now some of you guys might be wondering, but Hannibal, who's this Donald Glover person you're talking about? I've never heard of him. Well, Donald McKinley Glover Jr. Really? McKinley? Ugh, all right. I feel like, I know you can't really choose your middle name and nothing like that, but I just feel like your parents did you a disservice. Anyway, Donald McKinley Glover Jr., born September 25th, Libra Gang, is an American actor, musician, comedian, director, screenwriter, and DJ. He performs under the stage name Childish Gambino and as a DJ as MC McDJ, right? Let's just skip on down to the music part of this. Following several independently released albums and mixtapes, Donald Glover signed with Glass Note Records in 2011, and he released his first studio album called Camp. Camp is the debut studio album by Childish Gambino. It was released on November 15th. Upon Childish Gambino's 4 mixtapes and 3 independent album releases, he signed to Glass Note. We already said that. Why would you put that in there twice? The album is co-produced in its entirety by Childish Gambino's longtime collaborator Ludwig Göransson. And look, he's a white, Swede or Norwegian, whatever he is, that motherfucker makes good ass music, because he also produced Redbone, which is an R&B classic. If you can't get no pussy to that song, then you can't get no pussy. All right. Camp received generally positive reviews from critics, and it debuted at number 11 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart, selling 52,000 units in the first week. Look, and I mean, that's it. The album ended up selling 52,000 units. Altogether, it sold 242,000 units according to SoundScan. That's it. The album got very good reviews. It got an A- on MSN Music. It got 4 out of 5 stars from Mojo. It got 4 out of 5 stars from AllMusic. 4 out of 5 from the Independent. It got a pretty good reviews all across the board, especially for people that like rap music. So look, let's get into it.
So, Camp. Pull it back. You okay? All right. Pull it back. This album to me, Camp, is, for me, and I thought about it since I talked to you earlier, Hannibal, before we went into the show. This may even be top 5 for me. This album, for me, not best ever, but for me, my personal list of favorites. It's probably somewhere in my top 5. I don't know where yet. I've just been running it through my list, and that's where I've gotten with it. And there's a reason for that. And The reason I wanted to make sure y'all went first is because I wanted to hear what y'all said about it. I wanted to hear what y'all said about it, to hear your takes on it, to see if you took the same thing from it that I did. And neither one of you did, and that doesn't mean you're wrong. That's why I'm being very specific that this is my take on this album.
Yeah.
This is my life. Or my ears, more, or as a better phrase. I've been a fan of hip-hop, rap music for as long as I can remember, since the first time my brothers gave me a wedgie, and I realized that was my brother doing it. Because that's what the fuck they listen to. That's what we listen to. As I got older, I became more of a fan, because I grew up on the shit. This has always been my shit. The weird thing is, I was the youngest in my family. I grew up when my family hit the first step of their come up. Like, I was a kid. I grew up in a fucking white neighborhood. That's where I was. That's where I grew up. That's how I grew up. So growing up like that, hearing everything everybody else is listening to, I never really connected and I never realized it until I heard Camp. This album fucking, thank you for that, whoever, I can't read it.
Red Scare just became a pumpkin master.
Yeah, thank you. And this album fucking looked me in my eye and said, this is it. This was the first rap album in my entire life that I ever listened to that I truly related to. Like, lyrically, sonically, I was there with everything. Lyrically, this is the first rap album I ever in my life related to. This album to me is one of the most important albums I've ever heard, because it spoke with a voice with a black voice that a lot of people don't get to hear. I'm one of those voices that a lot of black people don't get to hear. There's an end of my life where it's something I got into with Hannibal on the phone. I talk about, like, if I didn't have the right people around me, Hannibal being one of them, I could have slipped into being one of those stupid fucking people that we make fun of, like clinging to fucking right-wing ideas, because of how I came up. And it was like, he talks about that struggle throughout this album. And those are lyrics that didn't get noticed in your reviews. That's why I wanted y'all to give your reviews first. Because these are things that don't get noticed, and they need to be noticed. And this is something that we need to not do to each other. Not saying that y'all do this. We need to not do this to each other. Because coming up, I learned a lot of self-hatred from other black people, from being accused of sounding too white. Like I'm gonna read this lyric from this. Like, my absolute favorite and what I think is the best song in this album to me, because this lyric cuts. Because this is my experience growing up as me, surrounded by my black family and trying to fit in, never being able to fit in. It's the fear is dead, ambition drove the hearse, but niggas got me feeling I ain't black enough to go to church. Culture shock in barbershops because I ain't hood enough. We all look the same to the cops. Ain't that good enough? The black experience is black and serious. Because being black, my experience is no one's hearing us. White kids get to wear whatever hat they want. When it comes to black kids, one size fits all.
It fits all. Yes.
Process that entire bar.
Facts. Yeah. Facts.
That's how I came up. And imagine being that kid coming up. Like, this is why, even though I want to kick Candace Owens in her stinky pussy, as Dave Chappelle puts it. I understand how she could get there, because I can see how the path I could have taken, the left I could have taken, that could have brought me there. Because of how we treat each other.
Yeah.
Because if you grow up like me, not being accepted in places like the barbershop and around your family, and you're feeling like that because I ain't hood enough. But nigga, we all look the same to the cops.
Yeah. And I feel like in New Orleans specifically, and I'm just going to say this to piggyback on it, and I think Cutter can co-sign this as well. And Live Action, she's in the chat, so I see you posting as well. So I think it's something that we can all recognize that in New Orleans, like living in Atlanta, you know, and Chris, you in Tacoma now, there's a different group of black people that live in these larger cities, right? But in New Orleans, it's just like, if you're that kid that listens to something that's not bounce music, that's not No Limit shit, Cash Money shit, New Orleans shit, it's just like, oh, you trying to be white, or you trying to like I remember the first time somebody called me out for listening to Green Day. Like, I remember a bitch calling me out for listening to Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill, and in the following year, all the bitches in my class was listening to that same album. I was like, y'all just tried to clown me for listening to this shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's one of those things where it's like, that diversity of idea, you know, that shit that Candace Owens sold Kanye West on, is not something in certain black communities where it's like, and I tell people all the time, there's a difference between good rap music and hood rap music, right? There's a lot of people that say they like rap music, but they like hood rap, not necessarily good rap. And that doesn't mean that there's not crossover, because there is. There are lots of examples of crossover. But like, if you like listening to Childish Gambino, Joyner Lucas, Logic, and we can take it further than that. If you like listening to The Roots or Common or Slum Village, Dilated Peoples, Jurassic 5, there's a lot of shit they will throw you off to the side for being other. And we do it to each other, and it's fucked up. Go ahead, Monty. I didn't mean to step on your shoes.
Yeah. But no, you brought me to a good place, and it's more than just the music you listen to. It is because my parents, and I used to resent my mom for this, but I don't anymore. And I realized I resented her because of how I was treated by our circle, because of how she raised me. Like, she raised me, the core of how she raised me was the thing that we all tell our kids as a black man. You have to be better. Like, if you're applying for the same job as a white man with the same qualifications, make sure you're better. And she would hold me to that standard hard. But she held me.
It's super unfair.
She held me to that standard so hard that I stood out more with family. And you know, as I got older and on my own, I learned how to code switch, which helped. But she held me to that standard hard that I felt like a fucking outcast. It's more than music. And this is something, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, Hannibal, but you were in this moment. We were on the, and seriously, not this is, you're
we've already talked about it.
And I just want people watching.
We were on Morning Wood.
Yeah, I want people watching to know that this is not me attacking you, anybody that's seen both, because it's not. There was a conversation that came up, and I started getting legitimately pissed off, because it was like, we joke around about me, and I can take the jokes. Hannibal's my friend. Hannibal's one of my best fucking friends. Hannibal knows me better than almost anybody at this point. But the topic came up of, we were joking around, and we ran through our music lists of who had the blackest music list, and I got pissed off at that list because I'm honestly sick of being told I'm not black. It's something that came up in our Discord. A thing that we do to each other. You talk white. You act white. Why you being so white about this? Why is the way I'm moving white. Like, why is this an insult? Like, why is what I'm doing an insult? Why is that the go-to? Why are you singling me out and pushing me aside because I'm acting white? When I've been taught all my life, this is how I fit in. This is what I need to do to move. Like, what do I need to do? Do I need to, because we're going, the standards we use to define blackness is dumb shit. And we need to stop that. We really do. Do I need to dumb myself the fuck down to be black? That's fucking stupid. We seriously need to stop doing that because it's damaging. And if we do it to the wrong people, we're going to create future Jesse Lee fucking Petersons and Candace Owens. And I'm not talking to y'all with this. This is general. Like, we need to stop doing that because it's damaging. Like, this shit affects me. It has affected me all my life. And when I realized that upset me, and then Camp was the album we were listening to, I didn't realize all this was going to swirl together and make me feel this. But it put me in a place where I'm like, I got something to say.
Yeah.
So this is me getting it off my chest. This is a problem that we need to fix. We need to not do this. We need to let our young people coming up that are going to be great, let them be great. Don't push them aside and belittle them. Because all they're going to do is walk the fuck away from us and say we're the problem.
Yeah. I am right there with you because I've had a similar experience growing up, especially like me being so dark-skinned, there's a color complex. And, you know, it all started off, well, Chris, why don't you have a thick accent? Because you're from New Orleans.
Yeah.
You know, and you talk white.
I get that.
Like that.
Yep. I get that all the
You know,
time.
I
People
got that
tell
all
me
the time.
All the time in Atlanta. They be like, you don't sound like you from New Orleans. I'm like, yeah, everybody from New Orleans don't be like, what's up, baby? How you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
we don't all
Just,
sound
I
like
grew
that.
up, you know, I grew up and it was always drilled to be diction, pronunciation, things like that. And not only that, I was into just different things. Like I listened to, I was into hip hop, but I would have, if I was a little bit more free then, I would have ended up more like a Donald Glover.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
you would have been a beast, bitch. Dirt. Invaders in.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, because like I grew up being, I was a comic geek. I was a comic book geek, and I found my tribe. My tribe was a bunch of like black ass geeks.
Yeah.
But we were teased. Like nobody liked us. You know what I'm saying? Like we were just those guys. But I ended up kind of blending into both worlds, which was a code switching thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I used to jokingly ride to the Bee Gees and then switch to BG. You know? Like
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
it was a thing.
Yeah.
Because I enjoyed both. But like back then, and I think it's better now. You get to see more people, like you get Kid Cudi. Shit, you get Willow and Jaden. And those are like free ass black kids. And I try to encourage my children to be the same. Like, let them be whoever the fuck they are. There's nothing wrong with being different. You know, and I embrace that. I embrace them to be different. I embrace them to be proud of their roots, but also let them grow branches.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like be free. You know, because like there's beauty in that. There's beauty in that creativity.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't moved by a lot of people because I couldn't feel some of that music. You know, like I didn't have an emotional reaction to like every hip hop song.
Yeah.
I had an emotional reaction. I remember I listened to Nirvana and I understood that shit because I understood pain.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when you understood pain and feeling like an outcast,
Yeah.
then you like, oh, that's me. Because the human experience is universal.
Yeah.
Now we can get detailed, you know, get detailed, and that's what it hits.
Here's a fun thing that I just realized that also proves a bigger point for bigger issues. We are so close. We're not that far from where segregation ended, and we are that.
Absolutely.
But this is what got me there, because if I had gone to school and you and Hannibal were in that school, we would have eventually met up, and we probably would have all become friends.
Oh yeah.
And I wouldn't have had that experience. But
And-
what happened
and-
with me was I was taken to one of the richer neighborhoods and I went to school. I was like one of the 2 black people there.
Where'd you go to Bonneville?
No, I went to elementary school. I went to a school called, I'm not even going to say the name. I don't want people to be able to find me. It's a white-ass name.
True.
Man, whoever's looking at your elementary school is focused on getting to you. Like, that's just...
Look, motherfuckers on the internet are crazy. So, but yeah, like that's like we're still segregated. Like I went to a white fucking school.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, it's funny because when I was in, I've always been that kid that like marched to the beat of his own drum. I always wore my weirdness on my sleeve. So it was like the kid I was in elementary school is the kid I was in middle school and the kid I was in high school. And it's weird because when you're into certain shit and then you make that switch from like elementary to middle, and then everybody, and then you see the change where it's like some people like they be like, oh, I used to be into this, but I'm not into that anymore because that's that young nigga shit. I'm into this grown up shit now. And it was like I was the kid in high school that was still like comic books and video games and Game Facts and Nintendo Power, and like I can remember being in like 8th grade and getting everybody in my class interested in Star Trek.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, there's this motherfucking show with Whoopi Goldberg that come on at 9 o'clock. That was the draw for me. That was the thing. I saw Whoopi. I was a fan of Whoopi Goldberg. I was like, man, that bitch is incredible. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like you remember when they used to do what was that stand up special they would do, like Comic Relief? It was like her and Billy Crystal and Robin Williams. Yeah. Shit. I would love watching Whoopi Goldberg do her set. I'd be like, man, this bitch is incredible. I love this motherfucker. She's awesome. Jumpin' Jack Flash. Like, look, I got a homeboy who I've named Jumpin' Jack Flash. Like, he's another producer. I took him under my wing. He's my apprentice, and I've literally taught this nigga how to be a better producer. Swear to God, I don't even know his real name. He has just always been Jumpin' Jack Flash to us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just, but it was like, and then when I got everybody watching Star Trek, and then we got to high school, and then all of a sudden everybody was like, nah, man, we ain't watching that shit no more. That shit's lame. That shit's geek. I was like, man, fuck y'all. This shit is incredible, okay? Wait, man, they got these niggas called the Borg on here. This is bananas, y'all. Y'all don't even know what y'all missing. But like, I was always that kid that was like, I like what I like, and I've never had shame. It's like I got like a mental defect or something. That's why I could walk around wearing a mask all the time. I don't give a fuck what nobody thinks. So I would have been that kid that would have found y'all and been like, yo, we should be friends. Yeah. And then we would have just been friends and embraced our weirdness and just never gave a fuck. You know what I'm saying? That would have just been us. Yeah, you know, that's how me and Brad got cool. You know what I'm saying? Because he was weird, and I was just like, man, you cool though. You walk around dressed like Blade in high school. This is dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, that's awesome. Me and you are gonna be friends. This nigga can do no hand cartwheels. I said, me and you gonna be real good friends, bro. Yeah. Just like
Yeah.
This was a shit show.
Y'all finished or y'all done? I ain't got no more talking.
Sweet Halloween in Collard Green.
What's up, y'all? This is Hannibal the Beat Animal.
And I'm Monty.
And if you enjoyed the clip that you just saw of Hannibal and Monty Shit Show, click the link above me so you can see the absolute best clip from Hannibal and Monty Shit Show.
I just watched that video a few minutes ago. It's garbage. This is the good one. Like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell.